Hello, my name is Martin and I'm Chair of Liberate, here in the Channel Islands. This week the subject of Union Civile or equal marriage has been very much in our headlines. And so we thought we'd take the opportunity to meet with Deputy Jonathan Tocq, Guernsey's Chief Minister, to ask him your questions around Union Civile and hopefully provide you with some answers.
Well, Union Civile will be, if it's accepted by the states, will be the only recognition of a couple's union, legally speaking, in Guernsey. So it'll apply to all couples, irrespective of sexuality, irrespective of religious persuasion, and it will be the legal, binding, effective replacement for our current marriage legislation. Well, in many ways it is equal marriage, but by another name, and part of the reason that we're seeking to use the term Union Civile is we don't want to have two types of marriage. In the UK and in Jersey, because there is a state church, as there is here, they've had to legislate for two types of marriage with two different types of conditions. So you've got traditional heterosexual marriage and then you've got same-sex marriage. We believe that that's not true equality and fairness, and also in looking at what the state needs to be responsible for, we felt that there were some things in there that really weren't the responsibility of the state in the 21st century. And so that's why we've proposed Union Civile. It is simple, it is one system for everyone. That's a very good question. Well, one of my primary religious beliefs is that there should be freedom of religious beliefs. And so, actually, you could say that my religious beliefs are connected in that I believe one of the main things of following Jesus, as I seek to do, is to make sure that everybody has a right to their own beliefs and is respected for that. Yes, they have, and they've been influenced both by me as an individual, by me as a pastor, and by me as a family member, and now in politics as well. And I think that's good. I've been on a journey, if you like, and I'm not quite sure where I am on that journey yet, but it's certainly changed, and I'm moving onwards. And part of that is in members of my family and understanding their own positions of conscience, and for those that are in gay relationships as well, what that means for them. And we've very much learned to appreciate them for who they are, and therefore they deserve the same rights and respect that the rest of us can have in our current society. So that's helped me to see how the state should be involved in terms of legislation and protecting those rights. That's a complicated question, but no, I don't believe that is the case. Obviously there's a certain complication because the government legislates for the Church of England in Guernsey, and we can't get around that. The Queen, our sovereign, is head of that Church of England. But what we can do is have a system that incorporates all people's understanding of marriage. Now, it's true to say that some couples want to be together and want the rights of togetherness and the state to defend those rights and to give them those rights without using the term marriage. So this enables people to use the term marriage because it will be the only equivalent to that. It will replace our current marriage legislation, but it means that neither the religious community nor the non-religious community have the franchise of that word marriage, and so people will be free to do so. It's interesting to note that in the current civil marriage ceremony, the word marriage actually hardly occurs. In fact, the certificate that you get doesn't mention the word marriage very much at all. It talks about husband and wife, lawfully wedded, matrimony, those sorts of things. And of course those words probably will need to change, will need to be more flexible because individuals want to use different words. We don't see that there will be a difficulty in having flexibility in the wording of the ceremony or indeed of the legislation around that. Yes, we believe so, because marriage is a recognition of a community, and so it's down to the individuals themselves as to how they want to express that. And it's not about a wedding day particularly, because that can happen. It does happen sometimes, sometimes it doesn't happen. People choose not to celebrate in different ways, whether religious or not. But we hope that this will give the opportunity for people to actually choose how they are recognised in their own community. Well, because it will be the only state recognition in Guernsey, it won't be like that we have several different systems of working. And so working with the Ministry of Justice in the UK, with whom our legislation passes to the Privy Council, we will ensure that it is recognised in, first of all, the UK and then more internationally. It's true to say that already there are legislations relating to unions around the world that aren't recognised in Guernsey and vice versa, and some of that has to go on, but that's part of our international responsibility in terms of improving that, and we expect people to respect our laws just as we would theirs. We don't think so. In fact, there will need to be some reference at the bottom of the copy, because that's all that people get. The actual certificate will still remain in the greffe as such. The copy, which you're allowed to get several copies of, and some people do for passport recognition, will need to have some explanation of the law and its equivalents on it. So it's very likely that it will refer to marriage in that explanation. Well, that's true. If there's two types of marriage, then like in the UK and the way that Jersey have done, and it is an option that we've looked at. It's not our preferred option, but it is certainly possible here. What it would mean is there are different conditions applying to same-sex marriage to heterosexual marriage that currently exists, which would mean, in effect, that issues such as adultery, consummation, which currently exist and are defined in the law, would discriminate against one and the other. Now, these may be small issues, but nevertheless it would mean there are two different sets of conditions applying to each of the different types of marriage, and that's why we feel that's not the preferred option. Well, there wouldn't be religious ceremonies issued by the state, because the state wouldn't do that under Union Civile. There wouldn't be any longer. It will be down to the churches, be that the established church, the Church of England, or be that different denominations or other faiths, or none, to seek to be registered so that they could use the terminology, be licensed by the greffe, by the state, to do so, as exists at the moment for non-established religions. And because of that, we believe that there'll be greater opportunity for people to take part, to be licensed, and to choose the ceremony that they want. And we would want to ensure that there was a greater opportunity than currently exists. Yes, that's absolutely right, because the certificate will be the same for all. Now, if a denomination or that issue their own certificate above that, then of course that's down to them if they want to do that. But the Union Civile certificate, or the, if you like, the certificate which is a copy of the one in the greffe, would still remain. Everyone would need to be registered at the greffe to be legally recognised to be in a union with another person. Okay. The consultation closes on the 13th of July. Okay, that's a little trickier to answer. but basically, depending on the number of replies and what they are, at the end we will need to do some work and then reconsider our proposals, because they're not set in stone. We've just said what our preferred options are, and we recognise that they're complex and it's difficult to understand why we're going for something that's a little bit more radical than perhaps what the UK or Jersey have done. But we believe this is right for Guernsey. Once that's happened and we've looked at all the results of the consultation, we hope to report before the end of this term, certainly, but hopefully by the end of this year, put a report together, and it will be on behalf of Policy Council, though that helps us speed it up a little bit, and then take it to the States. If the States accept it, the next stage then, of course, is legislation. That sort of time frame is well within the realms of possibility for us as well. Because it's important to hear everyone's views, and this is again about respect, which is why we believe Union Civile is the best way forward. We recognise we live in a plural society. We do not believe that it's the right of government to define people's lives to the degree where they've got to conform in areas of their lives that are a matter of conscience. As a result of that, it's important that we as government give opportunity for people to express their views in a calm and measured way so that we can understand one another and live together peaceably. So consultation is very much part of that. It should enable us to understand one another better, and like I said earlier, it's enabled me to change my views, modify my views, and I hope to understand one another better and so be a better society.
Well, it was really our pleasure to be able to interview you today, and thank you so much for agreeing to the interview. And watch this space to see what happens, I guess.
Thank you, it's been great, and I'm always happy to answer questions. I know that's the way in which people need to find out information, so as I often say, my door's always open.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, I hope you enjoyed our short film and interview with Guernsey's Chief Minister, Deputy Jonathan Tocq. If you've got any further questions about Union Civile, then why not visit our webpage www.liberate.gg/Union Civile. You can contact us via email at our email address, which is hello@liberate.gg. For those of you who use social media, we have Facebook pages. We have the Liberate Facebook page and we have a special Union Civile Facebook page. Or, for those of you who enjoy tweeting, then why not tweet us at LiberateHQ. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have many more videos during the course of this campaign, and we hope that you've enjoyed watching it.